championship. Now, when is Cody going to defend this title? Cody, he did an interview with Jim Ross after winning the championship. And he said he's going to carry on the tradition of just traveling around, of the traveling champion, what Nick Aldis was doing. Nick Aldis was traveling around everywhere and bringing the NWA title with him. Cody said, I'm bringing this NWA title with me. I don't care what promotion. This NWA title is coming with me. Cody's contracted to Ring of Honor. I would have to assume that the NWA title is going to be on Ring of Honor programming in the not too distant future. The Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view is coming up. Cody's got a tag match with his Bullet Club members against Chaos. I think Cody just said he's wearing the NWA title. So Billy Corgan and Ring of Honor have had to have worked something out. Ring of Honor, despite having a history of signing people to exclusive contracts, they seem to be all in, pardon the pun, on this idea of non-WWE wrestling promotions working together. And I think where you could see something like that come in is 2019 is going to be the biggest year for free agency in professional wrestling since the Monday Night War era. If WWE does decide, hey, we're going to put in a monster money offer to these guys. And remember, they've all said they're sticking together. The members of Bullet Club Elite, wherever one goes, they're all going next year. Marty Scurll's still locked up to a contract in 2019. So I don't know what that means. If that means that they're going to go to a promotion where Marty Scurll can also wrestle. In which case, not WWE. But it should be interesting. You know Don Callis wants to get his hands on some of the Bullet Club. He wants those guys in Impact. You know he does. Now, from what I hear, it's been a little difficult to get a talent sharing relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Conan mentioned on his podcast that Impact's having a heck of a time trying to get a talent sharing arrangement with New Japan. New Japan's happy with their arrangements in Ring of Honor. They're happy with their arrangements with CMLL. Now, Impact was able to get Taiji Ishimori, but you know they want the Bullet Club. So, does Impact Wrestling, Major League Wrestling, Billy Corgan's NWA, do they get together with Ring of Honor and say, look, we want to keep these guys away from WWE so we can at least get them on our programming a few times a year? What's stopping Court Bauer, Don Callis, Dario Cueto, and all these promotions from coming in and saying, look, you give us the bucks for 6 dates a year, and we'll chip in this much for our contract. Could that happen? Could that happen to try and keep people from going to WWE? Pentagon and Phoenix, there's all these rumors that WWE want them. From what it sounds like, they aren't taking bookings in 2019 to try and keep their schedule open for a potential free agency signing with WWE. What if... Now, Pentagon and Phoenix have played key roles in Impact Wrestling since the spring. Or whenever it is they came in. I think since WrestleMania weekend. You don't think Don Callis and Scott D'Amore and Ed Nordholm want to keep Pentagon and Phoenix? They do. What about Court Bauer and Major League Wrestling? Don't they want to keep Phoenix and Pentagon? Absolutely. Wouldn't Ring of Honor like Phoenix and Pentagon on their programming someday? Well, those promotions would have to work together. Well, they don't have to, but it would be in their best interest to work together to provide an offer to those luchadors that's in the ballpark of what WWE can offer. And then you, on top of that, you offer flexible dates, more creative freedom, things like that. So that's something that's coming up in 2019 that I don't think a lot of wrestling fans are talking about, is this crazy period of free agency that's going to exist. Instead of WCW and Ted Turner's money, what you have is almost every other wrestling promotion in the world pooling their resources together to try and keep the top talent in the world from going to the top promotion in the world, because that top promotion in the world doesn't share. They don't share their wrestlers. Much. Hideo Itami was in Pro Wrestling Noah. Brock Lesnar went to UFC. So that's an interesting thing that's going to be coming up. So how's that going to work, with Cody and the NWA? Cody is the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and Cody's contract with any professional wrestling organization is up in a few months. I believe his contract with Ring of Honor ends at the end of this year, as is the case with the Young Bucks. And is the case with Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, New Japan Pro Wrestling always just signs their people to one-year deals. So, the next thing coming up for the NWA and Cody Rhodes, there's the Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view for Ring of Honor. There's the Destruction Tour in New Japan. But also, next month is the first NWA branded show under the Billy Corgan era. Now, it's in conjunction with Jeff Jarrett's Global Force Wrestling, but it is the first NWA branded pure show. Up until now, it had always been Nick Aldis showing up on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, showing up in Combat Zone Wrestling, and showing up on other promotions. However, in October, to celebrate their 70th anniversary, Ring of Honor is going to run a show in Nashville. They haven't announced any of the matches, but it'll take place on the famed Nashville Fairgrounds. It'll stream on Fight TV, and it's in conjunction with Global Force Wrestling. Now, Billy Corgan has said that the NWA title will be defended on this show. Now, he said this before Nick Aldis lost the title, but, obviously the NWA World Heavyweight Championship is going to be defended on this show, October 21st, in the Nashville Fairgrounds, just 6 days before the Chris Jericho cruise set sail. So while it's not confirmed, it can be heavily speculated that this is where we're going to get Nick Aldis versus Cody Rhodes 2. And if Cody follows the same pattern of world championship reigns as his father, he's probably going to lose this match. But Cody's already spent more time as a world champion than his father did. He held the Ring of Honor World Championship for like 6 months. His dad in total only ever held the NWA World Heavyweight Championship for 107 days. But it should be interesting, what else are we going to get on October 21st in the Nashville Fairgrounds? There's been a few wrestlers that the NWA has built up. We've seen Josephus, who is, he worked on that old independent promotion that Billy Corgan used to own. I can't remember what they're called now. But Josephus has been on NWA television, NWA's YouTube channel. Tim Storm, you would have to imagine Tim Storm is going to be on that show. Crimson from old TNA. Crimson is someone that's been linked to Billy Corgan's Impact Wrestling, but we've got 7-8 weeks before this big event. But I would expect that we're going to get Aldis versus Rhodes 2 for the World Championship on October 21st. So if you enjoyed the NWA World Heavyweight Championship match that took place at All In, well, I think you're about to get the rematch on October 21st. So that should be pretty exciting. And for those who have been following the last year for NWA Wrestling, it seems like in 2018 they went down an avenue they weren't expecting. Corgan had talked a little bit about throwing NWA branded shows in the spring. However, now we're not going to get that to the fall. It does sort of sound like All In fell in their lap a little bit. And then that's where the focus went. Was, okay, we've got this opportunity on the biggest independent wrestling show of all time. We've got a spot to feature our brand of wrestling. And we've got to put everything into that. And I think it worked out great. I think it worked out fantastic. I think a lot of people are looking forward to the next NWA World Heavyweight Championship match because they're going to expect the same kind of atmosphere that they got between Cody and Nick Aldis. And they can expect you're not going to get one of these 7-star Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada matches. But what you will get is a match with a lot of psychology, a match with a little bit more realism, and a match that feels important. So you care about who wins and who loses. So I think that will be really good. And I think that Billy Corgan, the style of professional wrestling that Billy Corgan is going to present here in this new era of professional wrestling, I think is going to be one of the more unique brands. But wow, think about this. Think about this. We are 1 year removed from Jeff Jarrett and Impact Wrestling thinking that just appearing on their television, and remember, Jarrett doesn't even have television, that they would make 10% more on the independent scene. Like, that was a mentality that existed a year ago. Fast forward to now. And promotions won't do anything to harm their talent from going to other promotions. Like, the deals that, like, you see Impact Wrestling and Major League Wrestling, and they're announcing, oh, we've signed Tessa Blanchard. We've signed Shane Strickland. But what they've signed them to is deals that say, you've got to make our tapings your top priority, but then you can do whatever else you want. You can appear on other people's programming. You can appear, whatever. You can do whatever. So Tessa Blanchard, she can show up in Major League Wrestling tomorrow if she wants. Well, no, they don't have a show. She can show up on Thursday when they're filming War Games. And she's totally free to be on their TV because Impact Wrestling's television isn't until their television tapings aren't until the 13th and 14th of the next week. So as long as she can make those, she's fulfilling her contractual commitment to Impact Wrestling. Now, what's stopping Impact Wrestling from saying, hey, and going to Major League Wrestling and going to Ring of Honor and say, hey, let's stagger our TV dates so we can all use these talents and we can put in a joint offer to Pentagon and Phoenix to keep them from going to WWE. Just want to remind everybody to please hit that subscribe button to make sure you're not missing out on any news or reports from Spoiler-Free Wrestling. It also helps this channel grow and be seen by more people. You can also check me out on Twitter. I'm at Ian is a good dude, as I do try to be a good dude. You can check out our podcast. It's available on iTunes and wherever you normally get your podcast. Thanks very much for your support. I'm the Guy from Spoiler Free Wrestling.